welcome back to Log Blossom Farm. Today I'm going to make my long-awaited Hi guys, welcome back to Log Blossom Farm. Today I'm going to make my highly requested egg roll recipe. Of course, I always say it's super easy and super simple, but this is my step and my take on the egg rolls. There are multiple variations of how you can make it. Basically, when it comes down to making egg rolls, you just put whatever you want or whatever you like inside your egg rolls. We're going to start with soaking your vermicelli noodles. You can get these at the Asian stores. They come in a variety of different brands, but you can get whatever brands you want. You can mix and match it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. If you're making it for about 50 to 100 egg rolls, usually when I do make 50 egg rolls, I only use, they do come in little bundles. So if you use 2, 4, 6 bundles should give you 50 egg rolls. Okay, so I'm going to make about 150 egg rolls, so I'm going to use 2 packs of this. But if you want to make around 50 egg rolls, you'll only need 6 bundles. That should be enough for the egg rolls that you're making. If you make them big, I usually make mine about restaurant size, so 6 of these is plentiful. But if you want to make bigger egg rolls, you might want to use more vermicelli noodles. Now that I have the noodles soaking, we're going to go ahead and start the vegetable prepping. For the, if you're going to do 50 egg rolls, you'll need about half of a cabbage, but I'm going to use the entire cabbage because I'm making a big batch. And all you're wanting to do is shred these cabbage into small slices. I'll give you an example. You want it to look like this. It doesn't have to be perfect because once you salt it, it's going to wither, but you want to be able to taste the texture when you bite into the egg roll. So you'll just want to chop it up. And you'll need onions if you like onions. Yeah, I usually get 2 large onions, but because these are small size, I'm going to use 4 small onions. Again, for the 50 egg rolls, you'll just want to use 1 large onion or 2 medium-sized onions. And then we're going to add zucchini. So you can add zucchinis. I do add potatoes sometimes, but if I make egg rolls to store in the freezer, you don't want to use potatoes because potato tends to turn a dark, nasty brown when it sits in the freezer for a long period of time. So it gives the egg roll a unpleasant taste. So if I'm making egg rolls just for today, to eat it today, then I'll use potatoes. But if I make it to store it away, then I don't recommend using potatoes. So, and then you'll need 1 zucchini if you do 50, but I'm going to do 150, so I'm going to use 4 zucchini. So all we're going to do is we're going to take a cheese grater and we're just going to grate it right into our cabbage. You're just going to cut up all your vegetables and throw it into the same pot. Okay, so you leave the end on so that it's easier for you to grip onto so you don't get yourself cut on the grater. But if you do want to add potatoes, you can use a cheese grater to grate it, but you'll have to grate it in a separate bowl and let it soak in water so that most of the starches will come out, because the starch would also turn brown if you add it into your vegetable mix. So you'll peel your russet potatoes like you normally would if you make mashed potato. Grate it into a separate bowl. Let it soak it in water for about 10 minutes or so, and then you can squeeze the water out of it and then add it to your vegetables. Okay, so I've already sliced up my onions. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in with my vegetables. And you'll also need carrots if you use, I usually buy the regular size carrots and then shred it up with the regular cheese grater, but because at the time when I was out grocery shopping to buy the ingredients, they didn't have any carrots, so I went ahead and bought the shredded carrots, which is fine if you want to save time. It's a few more dollars extra, but you know, it is what it is. It's what they have at the time, and it's what I'm going to use, and it's saving me time. So you'll use the same cheese grater to grate your carrots as well as your other vegetables. You just want to, this is a 10-ounce bag. You just want to dump the whole thing in here. If you are making the 50 egg roll batch, then you just use like 2 regular size carrots, not the skinny ones, but like the regular size ones. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna add your seasoning, and the only seasoning, my secret ingredient, a lot of people don't know. Oh, why does your egg roll taste so good? Well, this is the only ingredient, seasoning that I use. I'm not sponsored, obviously. They should sponsor me because I use this all the time. You're just gonna take a spoonful, and you're basically just adding it to taste. These are salty like salt, so you don't want to use a lot of it, but you do want to be generous because you still have to consider, once you put the seasoning in here and you drain out the water, you're gonna add your ground up pork into this, so you can be generous. But if you don't like it to be salty, you just don't need to add a lot. So I've added about maybe three of these spoons. I don't know. Anyways, you do the math for your flavoring. So what we're gonna do now is just mix it up. Okay, as long as you get it kind of mixed, it's okay, because you're gonna have to mix it some more once you put in your noodles and your meat. So I'm gonna set this aside, and now we're gonna go and we're gonna drain the noodles, and then I'll show you how I cut them. So I've already drained the noodles, and they're still in a bundle, but what you wanna do now is just take a kitchen scissor and cut up your noodles. Okay, so I've already drained out the water from the vegetables as much as I can. So now all we're gonna do is dump all of the noodles. You can dump all of the noodles into the vegetables, and then all of your meat as well. This is about 5 pounds. I usually ground my own because it's so much cheaper. I just buy Boston butt, and then I cut it up, and then I ground it myself. Or if, you know, you can buy it the the pre-grounded one at the grocery store. It usually comes about 2.5 pounds to a pack for $5. So this is about 5 pounds, and you can ground your own, or you can buy it at the store. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump all of this in there. Plus, whenever I ground my own, I know what kind of quality meat I'm getting. Usually I don't trust what's grounded up and left at the store for individuals to pick up and buy. Then I'm going to use 4 eggs. If you want to, for the 50 egg rolls, you'll want like about 1.25 pounds. But if you like it really meaty, you can go ahead and use the whole, 2.5 pounds. I'm going to add 4 eggs. Just 1 egg for the 50 count. And then at this point you're done. You can just go ahead and mix it all together. But I do like an extra flavoring in mine. Sometimes I add it, sometimes I don't. So for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna add some. So this is oyster sauce. You'll just wanna add in as much as you want. Usually I add about 4 to 5 tablespoons for this batch, but 2 tablespoons for the 50 count is fine. It's empty, almost empty anyway, so I'm gonna use the whole bottle. And then the second seasoning that I'm going to add is the hoisin sauce. And again, 2 tablespoons for the 50 count, and 4 to 5 tablespoons for this big batch that I'm going to make. And then we're just going to mix it with our hands. Usually I use food prepping gloves, but I ran out, so we'll just use my bare hand. It's already washed. I usually like to use gloves because I don't like to touch the food, but it is what it is. I don't have time to go out and buy any. Okay, so now I have all my mixtures ready to be rolled, all you're gonna need is 1 egg yolk. I have 2 egg yolk in here because I have such a large batch, but for a 50 count egg roll batch, you only need 1 egg. That's plentiful, and that's gonna be the glue that's gonna bind your egg roll after you wrap it. And the package, the brand that I do recommend is this brand. It is harder to, there's only, I think, 2 egg roll wrap brands that I'm familiar with. One of them is this brand, and another, the other one is a pink label brand. When you go to the Asian store, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I do recommend this one, even though it's a little more stiff when you roll it. When you fry it, it gives it more of a crispier taste than the pink bag. So highly recommend this one. What you're gonna do is, it comes in like pastry pack looking sheets, and you're just gonna want to peel them. Okay, so I've already peeled all of my 25 for per pack of egg roll wrap. It comes in and 25 counts. So I've already separated them, and we're gonna start with our first wrap. So you're just gonna take your fingers. You're just gonna grab about a small little bundle like this. This might be too much. You want it to be about this size because you still want your egg rolls to be small and crunchy when you bite into it. If you roll it too big, my mom usually likes it, you know, a little bit thicker than mine. I feel like you don't get enough of the wrapping to give it that crunch. Then it gets soggy faster. So how you're gonna wrap it is, you're gonna put it about almost to the center, and then you're gonna roll up your bottom, and then you're gonna use the palm of your hand to push it back until you get a little resistant. Then you're gonna fold it. Put your fingers here and fold it so that you get a good tight fold. If you don't fold it tight enough, then oil is gonna get inside your egg rolls, and you're gonna have a soggy egg roll. You're not gonna have a crispy egg roll. Then you're gonna take your glue, your egg glue, and put it on the tip, and then voila, you're done. Perfect size egg roll. So we'll do another one. And this is the tedious part of this cooking part, is because you have to roll it all by yourself, because nobody else in the household knows how to roll egg rolls. Anyways, so you're gonna get a small hand portion. You're gonna kind of make it into the size of the egg roll that you want. You're gonna take your bottom end, you're gonna pull it over, pull it back with the palm of your hand. You'll get a little resistant, and you'll know when to stop. If you do it too hard, it will rip like this, but it's okay. You can just roll over the corners right on top of it, and then roll it, and that should fix it if it rips a little. And then just use your egg to glue it. Perfect. So they're all the same size. Okay, so I wrapped up a few just so I can fry it and show you what it looks like. And they're about 2 finger size in width, and the length is about 3 inches. So let's break into one and see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so I've already wrapped a few egg rolls that I haven't fried yet, and I'm going to show you how I store them in the freezer so that I can just take it out whenever I want throughout the week, right after work, and fry it. So I've got a little casserole tray here, and what we're going to do is we're going to line it with a paper towel, just a small single layer in case it condensates. We want it to go onto the paper towel instead of just seeping back up to the egg rolls, or they'll make it this egg roll soggy. Then we're gonna line it with a small piece of wax paper, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're just gonna stack them one layer at a time. You don't want to just put it right on top of the paper towel, because if it does get wet, it'll get stuck to the egg rolls, and you don't want to fry the paper towel onto the egg rolls. So the paper towel keeps the condensation down, and then the wax paper keeps the paper towel from getting on the egg rolls. Okay, so now that it's one layer down, you're gonna take another piece of wax paper, put it on top of it, and then put your second row. That way it doesn't stick. If it sticks on the side, it's okay, but if they're stuck on top of each other, it could rip the wrapping. Try to squeeze another one in here. So we have okay, and then now what you're gonna do is take another wax paper. You'll want to use wax paper because it works better, either wax paper or parchment paper. And then you want to put a single layer of paper towel on top because just in case, again, it condensates. Stick this down here, stick this down here. And then we're going to wrap it with aluminum foil, and then we can store it in the freezer. So you want about a decent size aluminum foil, and you're just gonna wrap it. And when you do store it in the freezer, you don't want to be stacking the trays on top of each other because you can squish the egg rolls. So you want to lay it in the freezer to where the trays are next to each other, and then when they're fully frozen, you can stack them on top of each other. That way it doesn't damage the egg rolls. If you do it before they're fully frozen and they're still soft, the weight of the trays can smash the egg rolls and make them flatten or bust them, and you don't want that to happen. So I usually put it in the freezer. I have a deep freeze, so I lay them how many trays that I have right next to each other in the freezer, and then the next day when I know that they're completely frozen, I go back and I stack them up on top of each other to make more room for other stuff. All right, well, there you have it. That's how I, prep and store away my egg rolls. That way when I come home from work, I could just take it out and deep fry it. And when you do deep fry, you can take it out frozen and put it frozen directly into the oil. You don't have to wait. Don't wait for it to thaw out because the condensation will rip the egg roll wrapping. So I recommend deep frying it frozen when you take it out. All right, enjoy.